the Mandalorian, we have Giancarlo, Esposito, and Ming now win. And to bring out our esteemed panelists, I'd like to bring out our moderator once again, Stephen Kramer Glickman from the Big Time Rush. Come on out here. Where's Stephen? Anybody see him? Stephen? Is that you? Okay. I'm gonna exit this way.
Hello there. Welcome to the Mandalorian panel, everyone. How's everybody doing? Are you excited? Well, I am the biggest Star Wars fan I know, so I'm very excited to be here. We have some absolutely incredible people. Let's bring them out to the stage. Please welcome this badass himself, Giancarlo Esposito. And now, please welcome to the stage, the one, the only, Ming Na Wen!
Hi, everyone.
I'm very excited. I'm so happy you guys are here. Give them a big round of applause.
What a crowd!
What a crowd! Give yourselves a round of applause for all. Look at you. You're massive. You're magical. I'd like to start off with a question for Giancarlo Esposito.
Yes!
You have been a villain in Star Wars, Better Call Saul, even the video game Far Cry. If all of them were locked in a room, which version of you is walking out?
Wouldn't you like to know? It would be the thinking version of myself. I have a feeling it would be Gustavo Fring.
Don't forget the boys.
Stan Edgar?
Yeah.
He could direct from behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Gustavo would have the army set up. He would know what to do and have all his, he would have figured it out before he walked into the room. You know, there's something interesting about someone who uses his brain to figure things out ahead of time and figures out what scenarios could happen. And if this happened, I would do this. If this happened, I would do this. So I would say Gustavo Fring.
Same question for you, Ming Na Wen. Fennec Shand or Mulan? Who's making it up?
Agent May. Oh, wow. And then everybody loves Agent May.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
Who would come out? Depends on the scenario also. But I would say Agent May.
Now, Ming Na Wen, you have the rare distinction of having played 3 total badasses for Disney. Which of them is closest to the real you?
Have you met me? None. None of the above. Yeah, it's been really great to be able to pretend to be a badass because, you know, I'm not. Right? Giancarlo? Am I? Am I a badass?
You're pretty much of a badass.
I think so too. I mean, look, this is a very difficult business, and you have fought very hard for the roles and the work that you've done. Is there a role that you've done that was a more difficult or a bigger fight than other roles?
I would say I had to audition for Agent May. I had to audition for Mulan. I mean, those specific. But I was given Fennec Shand. So that was one of the best gifts that, as an actor, I've ever received. Thank you, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni.
I love it. Now, question for Giancarlo. The finale of last season of The Mandalorian is now absolutely legendary. A legendary turn with the return of Luke Skywalker. Yeah. What memories for you stand out? And before I say this to you, I have to be 100%, and I'm sure many of you guys would feel this way. When I sat in my living room and watched that moment, everything in me just kept saying, there's no way they're doing this. How could they they're not. Why? How? And then just tears. I could not believe that it was really happening in my lifetime to be able to take a character from the past so convincingly and put him back on screen in such a beautiful way. What was filming that like for you?
For me, we didn't know much of anything because David Filoni and Jon Favreau kept such a great secret. I was told that something was coming that would threaten my whole existence, or the idea that Moff Gideon would be able to further what he wanted to further. And so we were all guessing because we had no clue as to what was really happening. So it was the best kept secret ever. And so for me, it was just exciting enough to shoot that and to be in a place where Moff had lost some of his power. And sometimes as an actor, when you're used to winning over and over again, I win with a lot of my characters. I have a way of controlling the chaos. It is then interesting to figure out how to lose or to make it look like I'm losing. And so that then sets me up to be in a vulnerable position, and that position can be wait to see what you're going to see next season. Right. And so we were really set up for such a very big punctuation at the end of our season, and we've had to wait to see what comes next. But it's very exciting. We waited a long time. It's coming out March 1st. We'll go into season 3. You will all be flipped out as to what happened.
I love it so much. Ming, here's a question for you. Your character Fennec Shand on The Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett doesn't have a lightsaber, but she totally should. If she did, what color would it be?
Orange!
Very serious question!
But it's such an easy answer. Yeah, orange has become my favorite color. So, yes, she would have an orange lightsaber, without a doubt.
What about you, Giancarlo? What color would you?
My lightsaber is always going to be black. Always.
I love it. Now, Moff Gideon is still alive currently. Any thoughts on what the future may hold for him? Anything that you can say of what you think where he should go?
Oh, goodness gracious. For me as an actor, I think there are a lot of places that Moff Gideon could go. But let me just say that Moff is a lot smarter than we ever imagined. And someone who just wants a lightsaber, that's someone who just wants power. Moff wants more than that. I'll tell you that much. And you'll start to see what that could be, and I think your minds will be blown in season 3.
Now, this is a question for both of you. Life before, life after. What is the same and what has changed before being part of this universe to then afterwards, what is your life?
I am immortal! I will live forever! I felt like when I got the call from John and Dave, I felt honored, number one, because John said, I wrote a role for you. And then I started to really go back into the Star Wars universe and really check out all of the other Moffs. And then I didn't really realize how big it was because I put my head down, did my research, and figured out who I wanted this character to be. And then one day when I got on set, and I asked John, I said, John, look, all I want is some toys to play with, and I must have a cape. And when he honored that, I got to my dressing room, and I'm swinging my cape around in the mirror, and then all of a sudden it hit me that all of my dreams have come true. And that moment that you think that, feel that, yeah, come on now, because I'm here to tell you that not only can my dreams come true, but all of your dreams can come true. Because I always knew it was going to happen. I always knew in my life I would fly. I always knew in my life that something really significant and great was going to happen. I never realized it was going to be the connection to my inner child. And all I do now is play. And as Moff Gideon, it looks like what I'm doing is very serious, controlling the chaos, but underneath, I'm giggling because people do what I tell them to. And I gotta tell you, the before and after of my life is that, yes, people recognize me wherever I go. That's one thing. Yes, people have a great amount of respect. But the greatest thing is that I have been empowered inside to be all of who I am. And that empowerment should never come from outside validation. It should always come from you, inside of you, knowing that you are organically powerful, truthful, honest, and in control of your destiny. So when you look at Moff Gideon, you see someone who's taking control of his destiny through his thought form, through his action, through his putting it into being, through his visualization. And believe me, there's no difference in that than there is in you doing the same and getting what you want in your lives. Brilliant. Yeah, babe, come on. I'll do it.
Somebody up front just said, you gotta run for president!
I agree 100%.
You got my vote! You know, it's for the people and by the people. And when we watch so much of the news, we see all the diverse reactions and the different sides and different parties. But you know what? It's the party of the people. And we all, as people, it would be great if we could stop judging each other and take back our government so that they understand that we, the people, are in control.
I say we just vote now. I mean, hands up for Giancarlo Esposito to be president.
I'd be doing it for all of you because, you know, why do we come here? We come here to be in wonder, enchantment, and joy. We come to play. We come to see and raise up images of our greatest play that are inclusive of mythology, a great story, inclusive of the hero and heroine's journey. So we come to Comic-Con to get out of our own skin and get back to that rarefied place where we can imagine again. And that's what our world should always be. That's where brilliance really happens. That's where our organic selves really thrive. And so I always love coming to Comic-Cons for that reason, that we can just play, have fun, but also visualize a greater society that has yet to be realized.
Ming, what about you? Are you also going to run for president?
Hell no. I'd rather be one of the people and just vote for this guy. So, I mean, it's always so much fun to come out here, and LA Comic-Con right now is just blowing up, and I cannot say enough about how well this convention has been run, how smooth it's been, how wonderful you guys are. And every time I meet a new fan and they express their love of projects that I've been in, characters that I've done, it's a reminder to me that this is why we're all here. You know, the perks of being an actor is that we get to do what we love, but we also fulfilled a great part of our own personal dreams to be in projects that we grew up with. But what you give to me, and I'm sure to Giancarlo, is what I have always felt for the Mark Hamills and the Harrison Fords and the Carrie Fishers of the world, all those amazing actors that had inspired me. And it's such an incredible turn to realize that that's the perk. I get to experience having had some sort of impact that hopefully will be a positive one, and you could take that and then, like Giancarlo says, like pass it on and go, you know what, if she can do it, so can I. So here's to all of you, making all your dreams come true.
Ming, I have another question for you. Now, you worked very closely with Tamara Morrison, who plays Boba Fett.
Tim!
So amazing.
Loved him.
What was your first experience like with him on set?
Well, okay, first of all, he is the original OG, right? He's the Boba Fett. Okay? So there's that. And then when you first meet Tim, like, he did something to me that I didn't realize he was doing on purpose. He was very serious. He had his serious face on. He had his, you know, persona, that whole New Zealand, like, that Mora energy. And I was quite intimidated. I was like, oh boy, what am I going to be playing up against? And we did our first rehearsal, which was like this fight scene. And that's something, of course, because of Agent May and 7 years of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I was very, confident, and I had my stunt double, Ming there. And then once we started working and we were serious about the scene, you know, the movements and everything, he finally, I told him later, I was like, you know, you intimidated me in the beginning. He's like, I was trying to. I was testing you. I'm like, F you, dude! I just wanted to be friends. And you find out he is the most lovable, most generous, just a big teddy bear with a heart of gold. So that's Tim. I cannot say enough wonderful things about him.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Giancarlo, what about you when it comes to the other cast members that you've worked with on the show? Is there anyone that stands out to you that you really enjoy working with?
Well, I have to say, Ming Wen stands out to me as being someone who exemplifies just the work ethic of a real, true actor, actress. And you know, so we have actors who feel that, you know, just saying the words is enough, but Ming brings her whole physicality into her character. So I'm always amazed when I see you, Ming. When I watch the show, I look and I go, that's Ming, she's doing that. You know, I'm always get very excited because I do much of my own stunts, and my particular favorite fight with Lateef Crowder was all me. And it was exciting to do. Yeah, it was great. We had a great stunt team. But whenever you can do your own, it feeds back into the words that you say when you're not wielding the sword, when you're not wielding the dark saber, because you've actually done it and felt how that feels. It puts you in a place to own it much more. We in acting talk about committing and owning every word and owning what we do. And I relate that to my life because I want to own my life now. I want to make definitive choices as an actor and make definitive choices in my life that reflect what I want. So my saying lately has been, ask for what you want in your life. Don't be shy. Ask for what you need. and then visualize that to happen. But be insistent that I like things to happen
But
this
don't
way.
let him fool you. I'm sorry, I have to interrupt you, Giancarlo, because I've gotten to know Giancarlo a lot, not just from the set, but from these conventions. Yes, you need to will it, want it, wish for it, but Giancarlo is the hardest working man in the whole universe, in the whole galaxy. I am always so inspired. So don't let him fool you. He makes it seem easy, okay? But he works his tail off. And that's the other part of the dedication that you need to apply all the time. You gotta work for it.
Takes work.
Yeah, it's not gonna be given to you.
Cultivate the garden, baby.
That's right.
One of those plants.
Something I love, and I don't want to upset any fans in the audience at all, but something that I love about The Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett and Obi-Wan Kenobi that I missed out on a few of the films. Some of the more recent films is that there's a level of respect that is paid to the characters and to the sets and to the universe that it means like all the smallest things, mean something to fans. And I'll never forget this. I loved Force Awakens, but there was a moment in Force Awakens where they lifted up the Millennium Falcon for the first time, and they flew it out of this little neighborhood that it was in, and it crashed into this like little kind of entrance to their thing, and it scraped the side of it, and I went, "Don't break my toys!" Like everything in my head was like, "Don't!" And then they shot Chewbacca at one point. I was like, "Don't shoot Chewbacca! What are you shooting Chewbacca for?" I was very upset. I got very upset about shooting Chewbacca, let alone Solo. But the point being is I love the level of respect that has been put into this show. Is there anything that when you guys were on set where you were like, I cannot believe that they brought this back to this level where you're like, oh my God, we're on another planet, or we feel you're acting and feeling like you're on a Death Star or Star Destroyer,
Everything that we did in this new incarnation of Mandalorian, for me, the TIE Fighter, I mean, that's a throwback. And to have a TIE Fighter come back and to be able to be sitting in that TIE Fighter, flying it, to me, was really, really exciting.
That's a bucket list, right?
That's a bucket list deal.
Hell yeah.
I mean, it's completely. I mean, that is just a piece of technology that we've gone far beyond, but still is a piece of technology that works so well. And for me to be in that seat, I got really excited when John was scratching his head going, and this is going to happen. I said, "What? You got to be kidding me. Yeah, we got to get you in the TIE Fighter." Because not only does Moff Gideon know everything, assume I know everything, he also is his own engineer, his own soldier, and he knows how to fly. And that to me was just one of the greatest things ever.
I love it so much.
It's almost like he worked from the bottom up, right? Like he was there. He knows all those special skills. He kind of worked his way up to the top there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mingo, was there anything on set that
come
happened where
on.
you were
Okay,
like,
Jabba the Hutt's throne.
oh,
Come on. Like every detail in that space they recreated, from the chimes that Princess Leia like knocks her head in, when she was trying to save Han Solo, to the gargoyle things on the sides, to the way it moved. Every aspect of that throne was recreated, and it was miraculous that I was there. And then there was a day that Mark Hamill, dressed as Luke Skywalker, he was doing something on another set, he came to visit us. And I was, oh my gosh, I will never forget that moment. It was so surreal to be there. I can't even describe it. It was a fantasy. It really was. It was a fantasy come true. Yeah, so many things. Being in Boba Fett's, you can't even call it by its name anymore, so I'm just going to leave, his spaceship. There's a lot of things that have changed over the years, but thank you, I know. Yes,
give it
thank
up
you.
for Giant
Thank you. It is still so fun to me.
So this is the part of the show where we're going to bring out my co-producer and co-host on the Nighttime Show podcast. We just finished our 200th episode with Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
Out now, the podcast called The Nighttime Show. Matt Walker, come on out and take some questions from these lovely people.
Questions right here. First question. Here we go.
My question is, what's it like filming with Baby Yoda? Is it hard or?
What's it like filming with
Baby Yoda, baby Yoda,
Baby Yoda question.
Such a diva. Baby Yoda was such a diva. Had an entourage of what, 10?
Yeah.
All every day. Seriously.
Fun to film with Baby Yoda in that Baby Yoda is irresistible. Irresistible.
Scene stealer.
And so, yeah, scene stealer. When I first saw the baby, John and I were walking to the set. He said, "Hey, you want to see something?" And he takes the sheet off of Baby Yoda. At that very moment, the puppeteer was coming around, and they were going to operate him and fire him up or her up, and they did that. And this baby Grogu came to life, and you cannot walk by the child without speaking to it,
How were you able to
interacting
do those
with it.
scenes where you hurt Grogu? How?
I can be hateful at times, but again, you have something I want.
All right, we got another question.
Hey, Giancarlo, I really appreciate your tweet about Jason David Frank. Can you talk about your friendship with him?
I met Jason a number of years ago on the Comic-Con circuit, and immediately we were drawn to each other because of how much he loved his fans. The first time I met him, I walked into a room and I heard all this cheering that would not stop. And I look over and a guy is jumping from the floor to on top of his table. And he's all fired up, and he's really, really giving his energy and sharing his energy with his fans. And I looked to Kelsey Work, my business partner in the cons, and said, "Who is that guy?" And she said, "Oh, that's Jason." And we met afterwards, and I thought maybe it was just an anomaly. At that particular con, he had more energy. And then we proceeded to meet each other at different places around the United States. And each time, he was dressed really well. He had a great attitude. He was making his own films. He was making his own way. And I just felt like he was someone who lived life to the fullest in a way that I do. And so he became very dear to me in so many ways because of his energy level. We are energetic beings, 90% water, and electrical. And so he had an electricity that I really related to. He will be sorely missed, but I'll carry him with me with every con that I go to because I realize he's someone who didn't miss a beat in regard to how he lived his life. He was good to everyone. He respected everyone, and he loved his fans more than anyone I've ever met. Thank you. We love you, Jason Frank.
All right, next question, Matt.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Out of the whole catalog of Star Wars, between the movies, the series, and the cartoons, for you three, what's your favorite moments, or what's your favorite moment or scene out of the whole Star Wars catalog?
Our favorite moments in any Star Wars project? The one where Fennec Shand was born. No, I'm just kidding. For me, I think one of the most iconic moment was when Luke Skywalker was looking at the binary sunset on Tatooine, and there was like a 30-second moment of him wishing that his life was different and wishing that he could be what he thought he could be and was stifled by his family. That's how I was experiencing my world as a teenager at the time. where acting was not a possibility according to my parents. You know, it had to be a doctor, a lawyer, someone that had a respectable occupation. And so that moment still holds dear to me very much.
It's incredible how our lives reflect our experiences, and then when we see them on the big screen in something that we really respect and love, that may be a story told within a mythical context or a fantastical fantasy context, how it affects us. For me, Darth Vader was a very powerful figure. About 25 years ago, I was walking in the park with a dear friend of mine who's an anesthesiologist, Steve Chisholm, and we had traded books. He asked me about books about consciousness, and I would send him books. And we were walking with his 2 daughters and two of my 4 daughters, and he turned, he stopped, and he said, "You're a Jedi Master." And I said, "Oh, what does that mean?" He said, "Well, you're a meditator and you think differently. You're kind of a visionary." And then he stopped again, and he said, "Oh my goodness, you're going to be in Star Wars." And I said, "What are you, psychic? Are you what are you? Are you from this world or the next?" That was 25 years ago. And then all of this happened, and I called him, and I said, "Wow!" Like, ever since he said that to me 25 years ago, it was out in the universe, and I kind of saw it, and I was kind of playing with it within my consciousness. And so that's how it works, you know? And so for me, the moments between Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker were powerful. That confrontation and question about, who am I to you? The revelation of, who am I to you? What do you mean to me? The father and son, you know, interaction. It's the same thing that you felt, Ming, because for me, I had, my father is from Naples, Italy. He was here some of the time, but there most of the time, and he was trying to make his life work, and I really wanted more from him. And I wanted that interaction that had me feel like I had someone who really looked out for me. And so I come from divorced parents, and I always missed that interaction and that connection between the father. And I had to look for other people in my life to give me to be father figures. So for me, it's those moments that really allow us to know that we are strong enough. Whatever parenting we had, we find out that when we have children, we have to live up to our own standard of what it means to be held accountable and responsible for bringing a life into this world and committing to them. So I always felt like my father really didn't understand the nature of that commitment, right? Because you can have your own life, but much of your life becomes intertwined with others, much like our relationships to each other, even if we're just friends. But then it becomes about blood. So then that commitment is stronger. And so if I wanted you here, like I have 4 daughters, no matter if I'm divorced, married, or not, my commitment is to give of my time, right? The greatest gift is of your time, not your pocket, not your money, your time, your knowledge, your support, and your inspiration. So those moments were the strongest for me.
Love you, man. For me, it's got to be B. Arthur in the Star Wars Holiday Special.
You know, I have yet to see that. I've been told not to watch it, but now I feel like I have to.
Oh, yeah, it's a living nightmare.
Yeah. Really? How many people have seen the Star Wars? I've seen not that. I'm not alone then. Okay. Because I did, yeah.
It's fascinating in a lot of very weird ways, because a lot of, like, B. Arthur agreed to do it on the condition that she could sing a song in the show.
Okay.
And they were like, why would there be a song in the, all right, whatever, you know? And then Cirque du Soleil performed for the first time in America in the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Really?
Oh yeah, as a hologram that appears to Chewbacca's, I want to say, son?
Okay, don't spoil it for me. I'm going to watch it now.
Yeah, look,
Don't spoil it for me.
It is weird. It is a great pile of weirdness. Matt Walker, you're up.
Next question.
I just want to say all of you guys are awesome, all three of you. My question is, Mulan, Gustavo, what color lightsaber would you guys think theirs would be?
What? I'm sorry, Matt?
What color lightsaber would Mulan have, and what color lightsaber would Gus Fring have?
Huh.
Oh, interesting.
My answer's easy. Gus Fring, Gustavo, has a blue lightsaber. And on the edges it is adorned with crystallized meth.
Yeah. Man, that would burn good. That would burn really good. I think Mulan would be definitely more like lavender, sort of but deadly. Yeah.
Love it. All right, we got another one over here. Another question.
I have a question. So I wanted to know who would win in a battle of wits between Moff Gideon and Gus?
Sorry, say it again.
Who would win in a battle of wits between Moff Gideon and Gus?
Battle of wits, I think it would be Gustavo Fring. Battle of brawn, I think it would be Moff Gideon.
Yes.
Agreed.
Hold on, running to the next question. Let's see if I can get to him. All right, you're the red hat. Can you get over here to ask a question? Let's see.
Buddy, I just wanted to ask for Giancarlo. Are you aware of all the meme culture behind all the characters you've played before? And if so, how do you feel about it?
You know, every day I get a new meme, and I really love it. And I know that some young people who have not even seen Gustavo Fring or Breaking Bad because they're too young have met him in memes. I feel great about it. I think memes are really fun. I didn't understand them in the beginning. I have 4 daughters, all of whom send me a meme every other day. I think they're fun, they can be inspiring, and they can also kind of bring a new audience, not only to Mandalorian, but also to Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad and Stan Edgar of The Boys. So I think they're a fascinating way to connect with our audience and also with each other, surrounding being witty, like saying something very witty that connects to all of our hearts and spirits.
Now, since the last time you were here, you both have action figures that have been made of you. Do you have them? Are they in your home? Are they still in the box? Have you taken them out? What's happening in your homes with these toys?
Well, mine are still in boxes only because I'm just done remodeling my home and I'm finding ways to be able to display them properly. They need to, I want to have a shrine of all my toys. Sure, but in the meantime, like my husband just gave me this watch band that has Fennec on it. So
love it.
I love it, and he buys me all these T-shirts that I can't wear anywhere else. So I come to the conventions and wear T-shirts of myself.
I love it. The wonderful thing about coming to Comic-Cons for me is that I always leave with more than I came with. And that's because all of you wonderful fans give me gifts, whether it be the gift of art, and I'll say something about that because I have a fan art Friday on my Instagram where I celebrate artists, and I'm about to get into the NFT world where I'd like to be able to celebrate artists who've given me artwork of Moff Gideon. I have many pieces of Gustavo Fring, and I'd like those artists to be known. Who are they? Because they do great work. So I always leave Comic-Cons with some wonderful artistic drawings and other clay figures that celebrate a character that I've played. So look out for me celebrating that even more, because I feel like things by hand have been lost. When you do something with your hands, you're imbibing it with your spirit. Whether you're a painter, just saw a wonderful dear friend of yours and mine backstage, Billy Zane, who is not only a phenomenal actor, but a wonderful and incredible artist, because he's taken the vision that he sees inside and he has played with it with paint, and he's created his artistry, which is now becoming known around the world. And so that it's inspiring to people. Like when I walked into the Four Seasons in Los Angeles and saw a painting from across the room on the wall, and I was drawn to it, not knowing who painted it, knowing that painting had to be in my home because it did something to me viscerally. When I got closer to that painting, I looked and I went, that's Billy Zane. What an artist. And so when you do something with your hands and your heart and your head, vision, soul, creation, then it's imbibed with your spirit. And there's nothing more important or greater. You have a great effect by putting your vibration into something that really tells the world who you are.
You know, it's just a little side note, but a very fun thing that you guys will both appreciate. My friend Daniel Monahan is a toy designer. He designs Star Wars toys for Disney.
Wow.
He teamed up with Dana Gasser, who works on The Mandalorian, with Chris Bartlett, who plays C-3PO and all sorts of different guys. Dana designed the Stormtroopers costumes for the park for Disneyland and for the finale of one of the seasons of Mandalorian. The two of them teamed up and made a Gustavo Rock figure from my character from Big Time Rush, and I got 100 of them made and then hand painted 100 figures just for Comic-Con, and I think I have like 30 left. I've been selling them since we started yesterday. But just knowing every time I when someone takes one off the table, I feel like a piece of myself go off with them, and it feels so nice to be able to like put your own, imbue yourself into something and then give it away.
It's really special. On my figures, I've opened one or two of them. I have so many now, and I'm always honored that someone would take something so, in a way, realistic and then create something abstract surrounding it that I can relate to and know it's one of the characters I've played. And so I have shelves in my home where each one exists that I can look at them and honor the artist who made them, and I think it's pretty fantastic.
I love that. Tell everyone where they can find you on the social medias.
The Giancarlo Esposito on Instagram. You can find me there. You can find me on Twitter as well. I'm easily found, and I love it when people do reach out, especially with artwork, because eventually it finds its place to the world. And my new NFT will be coming out soon. So if you reach me on social media and you have something special you want to share, I'd love to blow you up so that your dreams can come true.
Love it. Love it. Ming, where can people find you?
You can find me on @Mingna_Wen on Instagram, as well as my lifestyle Instagram Whenever by Mingna Wen, WENEVER, and on I guess Twitter would be just @Mingna, and I do this. I love posting pictures and gifts from the fans. I think our fans are truly the most talented people, and it blows my mind every time I see something from them. And I would ask, like, how did you do this? And well, I drew it, or I digitally drew it, or I created it on 3D printer. It's remarkable what you guys do, and we're very, I know I'm extremely grateful for all your artistry and all your love.
Love it. Hey guys, you can get me, Stephen Glickman, STEPHEN, Glickman on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. My booth is literally right there. You're welcome to come over and come say hi. It's 854 is our booth. Billy Zane is signing in the booth the rest of the night and all day tomorrow. So come on over and come visit. We have other cast members from The Mandalorian in the booth signing, all sorts of wonderful people. So Misty Roses is going to be signing in the booth, and Chris Bartlett, and lots of other people. So come on over, come say hi to me. I'll be there. I love you guys all so much, and listen to my podcast, The Nighttime Show. Thanks so much. We love you.